The way I ended up in immigration practice is because I was outraged at what I was watching and seeing. So that's how I ended up here. So I'm Rekha Sharma-Crawford. I'm a founder and co-partner at Sharma-Crawford Attorneys at Law, and I'm also the president of the board for the clinic at Sharma-Crawford. For me, it was not really anything I was planning on doing. When I was introduced to immigration law, I was very surprised by just the lack of due process. I was really surprised by how messed up the system really was.
I'm Mary Sanchez. I am the senior reporter at Kansas City PBS. And before that, I was with the Kansas City Star for more than 30 years. She's really able to explain really complicated nuances of immigration law, but in a way that is compassionate to a listener who perhaps, doesn't really have any background in that law. They may have absorbed a lot of things that they hear.
Part of what we saw is that here, unlike New York and LA and Chicago and Houston, places that are bigger, larger metropolitan cities that had other nonprofits trying to fill that gap, it didn't exist here in Kansas City. So we could have either stood by or we could have addressed the challenge, and we chose to address the challenge. The clinic provides nonprofit removal defense because there's no right to a lawyer in immigration court. So as complicated and as draconian as those laws are, it's even more difficult because you have to now try and do it yourself.
My name is Kelly Stump. I am the president-elect of the American Immigration Lawyers Association and also a practitioner of immigration law in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Rekha's work is so important because we're losing immigration attorneys in our nation. The removal defense work it's tough. Rekha, she refuses to give up, and she's out there training new attorneys as we speak. She represents the defenseless. She lands planes and pulls people off of planes that are on their way to deportation.
The issue is how do we leave this space a little bit better than we found it? How do we do the work and move the needle even a small bit so that there is a greater understanding in communities? Is there greater justice out there? Is there greater fairness in the system? So I think to me, that's the greater win, is how do we leave the space in a better place than we found it?